Hi everyone, I want to show you an open source project framework I've been working on called Squirrels. It is a REST API framework for data analytics. So assuming you have Python installed, at least Python version 3.9, you can run pip install squirrels. Now I have a empty folder opened up in VS Code here. And now that I've installed squirrels, I can run sqrl, short for squirrels-h, to see all available command line utilities that come with squirrels, or run squirrel-dash version to check out the version I installed. As of the recording of this video, the latest version is 0.3.1. Next, I will run squirrel init core, and this will actually set up a working squirrels project for you. Now, once this is done running, you will see a bunch of files and folders created here in VS Code. If I open up squirrels.yaml, which every Squirrels project would have, we have the name of my project specified, as well as the major version, some connection settings to external databases, and a list of data sets that gets created with your Squirrels project. So here, this data set example is public, and protected requires authentication, which I will not get into here. The quote external database I'll be querying is this expenses SQLite database. So here is just a bunch of transactions in the year of 2023 with the amount, what category, and subcategory these transactions are. Next, I can run squirrel run to turn on the API server. And once that's going, I'll explain some APIs that are available in any Squirrels project. So first, we have a API endpoint to list data sets available with our project. We just have the one for now without authenticating. So with this data set example data set, we can access this parameters or this results endpoint to see the parameters for the data set. So here, let's say this data set have parameter group by with these options. Let's say I want to group by subcategory. So I go into the datasets endpoint. I can put a query parameter for group by equals the ID for subcategory G3. And here we have a JSON representation of the tabular results. Now, obviously, it will be better to have documentation for what API endpoints and query parameters they accept. So here we have Swagger dots that's auto-generated for you. And for a better testing experience, you can even access the testing tool here. So just to replicate what we've done, we can group by subcategory and see the tabular results here. Now, coming back to VS Code, I'm going to show how all this was achieved. Here for my dataset example, I specified that it uses these parameters. These parameters can be defined either in YAML in this file, but preferably you can also define them in this parameters.py file. And so in here, I've imported parameters as P or parameter options as PO from Squirrels. And here's an example of how I define the group by parameter as a single select parameter. The reason I prefer Python is because if your ID is connected to your Python environment, you can do p.parameter to see all the different parameters you are able to create in Squirrels. Next, we have the context.py file. This allows you to define transform real-time parameter selections into meaningful variables that can be used in your models. And I call these context variables. Quickly showing what's going on here, in real time, we check whether the group by parameter is applicable for the current data set. And we just define keys to this CTX or context dictionary, which we'll be able to use later on. For models, we either have database views or federated views. Database views tend to be SQL queries that query external databases. Federated views allows you to combine the results of other views, database views, or other federated views to return a single tabular result. These models can be written as either SQL templates, templated in Jinja, or Python. So here, we can quickly show you the database view. Although we're not using authentication here, if we were to, we can say have different behavior on our SQL query based on the role of the authenticated user. And here are some examples where I'm using some context variables. Quickly show what a fedora view looks like. Only fedora views have access to this ref macro to refer to other models. So here I'm referring to the database view we just saw earlier. To actually see what these models compile into, I will first click Control C to stop this API server. We have this squirrel compile command available for you, and I'll just compile on the dataset example. And just doing it as such, we will compile with default parameter selections. We get this target folder created, and here we can see a lineage as a picture of our data models, quickly looking at what our database view looks like. Note here that sometimes we may want to provide placeholders to avoid SQL injection, especially if you have text parameters involved. So specifically, this one would be of most concern. And then here we have what the fedora view compiles down to. You can see here we are referencing to the database view after the results are created. You can see the placeholder set as such. Now, coming back to the squirrels.yaml file, you can define selection test sets as well to try and compile for different parameter selections. So here, I will compile with this test set we are seeing called no-auth test1. And once that's complete, we will see it compiled, generated in the target folder again. Now we see a new folder for the new test set. DAG is the same. Pretty much the compile queries are the same, but here in the placeholders, you can see that the start date is now different. Oh, I'll move my webcam layover up here so that you can see the full command that I put in. Hopefully this was a comprehensive overview of squirrels. Now there's a lot that I did not go through here in this limited time, but if you go to this website, squirrels.analytics.helpdesk.io, you can click on Get Started Now to go through a quick start guide. Here in the step 1, we just went through the init example I just showed you, but the rest of this quick start will get you through creating your own weather analytics example. You can see a bunch of more topics available here you can look through. Stay tuned as I'll be pushing out more tutorial videos or feature highlights of squirrels. See you later.